What drove you to get into the mortgage business?
Nothing. I feel like no one wakes up and says, I want to be a loan officer.
Probably a
So,
fact.
I worked at Aldi right out of college. Definitely felt it wasn't the right environment for me. Saw some advertisements at Veterans United, saw it was a good company, had some good reviews. I've heard I'd be good at sales, so I thought I would jump in and see what happened.
That's cool. We are back for another loan officer spotlight, and I'm excited to do this one because this is the third in line, and the first two, I knew them. I don't really know Dylan. We just met. We just met recently.
Yeah.
Dylan Morgret, and you are based out of the middle of Missouri. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're based out of?
Yeah, Columbia, Missouri. I've been in the mortgage industry a little over 8 years now. Worked at Veterans United prior to USA Mortgage, all out of Columbia. So I feel like the industry and the job has been a pretty perfect fit for my personality, and yeah, I love what I do.
Awesome. What drove you to get into the mortgage business?
Nothing. I feel like no one wakes up and says, I want to be a loan officer.
a
So, I worked at Aldi right out of college. Definitely felt it wasn't the right environment for me. Saw some advertisements at Veterans United, saw it was a good company, had some good reviews. I've heard I'd be good at sales, so I thought I would jump in and see what happened.
That's cool.
Really just kind of took off, and all the little email alerts and texts and calls and just going back and forth between them kind of resonates with me and works for me.
So for those that aren't familiar, Columbia, Missouri is very near the capital of Missouri, which is Jefferson City, right? Columbia is the home of the University of Missouri, MIZ. If you know, you know how to finish that one. Did you go to Mizzou?
Yeah, yep, I'm a Tiger.
Awesome. What was your degree?
Business, just general business. Started in education and realized that, I'm going to be really passionate about whatever I do. So I wanted some opportunities to make more money with my passion, so switched it over.
Is that what made it? Were you born and raised in Columbia, or is that what sent you to Columbia?
No, it sent me to Columbia. I'm from Edina, Missouri, a small town in northeast Missouri, and just very small rural community. And
awesome.
Columbia now just feels like a big small town to me. So
northeast Missouri, north of Hannibal.
West of Hannibal. Hannibal would be closer to the east. Like we're like 45 minutes from Illinois, 45 minutes from Iowa, right up in the corner.
Very rural. I
yeah,
imagine.
Extremely rural.
Very cool. Very cool. So you went to Columbia. You decided to stay in Columbia, and you found yourself in the mortgage business. And now here you are over at USA Mortgage. So, what would you say is one of the bigger differentiators? When obviously a borrower, a real estate agent, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of us.
Yeah.
Why choose you?
I would say I'm going to be a great fit for someone that is passionate about helping the customer, but also growing their business. I have a ton of passion to give everything I do. I do it with my all and really put my heart into it. And so I find that I connect most with those people that also are very passionate about what they do and want to grow their business, because I found in my job, if I'm not growing, I'm shrinking.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of trying to find someone that's on the same goals, trying to do bigger things, and trying to figure out how we get there together.
Yeah. And you're relatively young in the business comparatively, yet here you are on this cruise, as I've mentioned in previous episodes, and we've got an incredible view with an incredible room, but you get here by production. And so, that's impressive. I think somebody, a real estate agent watching this, a borrower watching this, I would be thinking to myself, geez, like you're already near the top. How do you think you got there? What creates that success?
Jumping in, willing to be uncomfortable. I definitely have learned that anything I do that makes me uncomfortable is what I need to be doing, because I'm growing.
Yeah.
I'm getting outside of that circle. So I would say when the industry really turned in 2022, I was feeling pretty bad for myself, and we had an awesome sales seminar where we got to listen to some really influential speakers, like Barry Habib is one that came to mind. And I remember a lot of the tools that they told me, this is what you're going to need to do to survive. None of them were things that I was doing, but there was nothing on there that I didn't see that I couldn't do.
Yeah.
So, it was more just throwing myself in there, learning new tricks and seeing what works. Sometimes you work on something for a long time and realize I'm not really adding the value or it's not a good fit for me. You know, it might work for someone else, but not for me. So really just throwing myself out there, seeing what works, and being vulnerable, really.
I love it. I love it. So on that note, specifically, you know, you came from, for those that aren't familiar with the Veterans United, it's kind of a national company, very focused on VA loans, veterans, obviously, but it's more of a call center.
Yeah.
It's more of, you're an order taker.
Yes.
Then you shift over to the correspondent world, which is what a USA Mortgage is, basically a lender, and you become a hunter. And then you know you eat what you kill, so to speak.
Yeah.
So why would a real estate agent want to work with you? What makes you the loan officer that might be different or maybe better than somebody else that they've worked with in the past?
Absolutely. I would say, again, you know, kind of coming back to that passion. If you have a passion for what you do, and maybe you're not sure exactly what the next step is to grow your business or what you need to do to make it happen, I think I could be a great fit with you. You know, I have a ton of passion here too, and I've fortunate enough, I've closed over 1,500 loans in my life. Wow. And so because of that, I've developed really good processes so customers get taken care of. I'd also say that with my passion comes a level of persistence and dedication to the customer that I feel like is unmatched. You know, I would say half my customers I've been working with for 6 to 12 months or more. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I've really fought with them to get to this point.
So as it relates to you know, obviously working with real estate agents, is there anything that you typically find works best from a relationship perspective? Like, you work better with this type of a real estate agent?
Probably someone that's also willing to try just new things, you know, and willing to be vulnerable and learn together. And it's okay if we make mistakes or we try something that doesn't work out. We learned from it. So I would say someone that is very passionate about growing their business, you know, and making their life better because of it. I think would be a good fit there.
You mentioned when we were talking yesterday, when we first met, about you know, working with real estate agents, that you want to help them. Like, you guys are, it's almost like you're partners.
Yes.
And you're in business
Absolutely.
together. You want to talk about that for a second?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's really been great. You know, I've only been in this, you know, eat what you hunt type of business for 3.5 years now. And it's been really cool seeing my teams that I'm helping with growing their business. And so I really like that mindset of, like, you grow your team, I grow my team. So you bring someone on, go ahead and introduce me. Let's talk, make me their resource for all those dumb questions. Like, what materials can I give you to help you get out there? Can I meet with customers with you until you feel more comfortable, you know, with that one-on-one, build that buyer presentation. Right now, you know, you want to get a buyer to see a home, they've got to sign a piece of paper. So that first initial meeting, dominating that and coming across professional and motivated and focused on your customer is hugely important. So the way I look at it is, you know, I want to be a part of that growth and everything together. So tell me what your goals are, where you want to go with it, and I'll try to figure out how I can fit into that puzzle and make that happen.
That's a fantastic answer. So that segues over to the question of what would be advice that you would then give to a borrower. And you know, as the world is kind of evolving and shifting, and we're probably, hopefully, going to see a very big push from like a Gen Z, young homeowners entering into the market. What's your advice to them that don't currently own?
I would say a couple things. One, right now, it is so easy to obtain debt, credit cards, installment loans. It's a trap. Stay away from pay-as-you-go. Any of these spread out your payment over a long time, don't do it. You know, really focus on your budget, your cash flow, your money in, your money out. If I can help you with that budget, I would love to do that. You know, that's something that I'm very passionate about, you know, coming up, not really having a lot of money. And so learning, oh man, how would I do with this now that I'm starting to actually make a little bit, you know, really passionate about that. Also, I would say the sooner you can reach out, the better. It doesn't mean I'm going to push you to do an application, pull your credit, go make an offer on a home, but let's at least have the talk, verbalize your plan to me, and let me see if there's any holes in there that I can't poke, or some education I can provide you that, okay, you don't want to apply for 6 months, that's fine. Let me tell you what you can be working on in the next 6 months. Better yet, if you are ready to take that step, I 100% say, let us look at your credit and verify your income several months in advance, because there's nothing more painful than, I chatted with you in February. It's when we started our conversation. You weren't ready, you weren't ready, you weren't ready. It's now August. You found the perfect home. You want to make an offer. There's something on your credit that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Your income, if we would have been, something that in that time we could have solved.
Sure.
And that is so painful to me. So I would say the earlier you can reach out, that's just more time for me to give you free advice, and
It's almost a financial advisor, but you're not taking their money.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Trying.
I would say that is how I look at my job these days. You'd mentioned as an app taker, an order taker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I truly feel like an advisor of my customers' future. So I'm really trying to understand their goals to be sure I'm not suggesting the wrong path. So sometimes what I think initially is the right answer, after we talk about your goals, I'm like, no, you're right on. You've got the right plan. Now let me tell you how to get there. So
yeah, love it. Let's get personal. So obviously the mortgage business, and I know this from my years in the business, can chew up a lot of our life.
Yeah.
But it can't be all of your life. So what do you do when you're not working?
Yeah, pretty much anything that involves sweating and working with my hands. I sit behind a computer all day, so when the computer's off, I can't remember the last time I opened my laptop at home. I've got an older Corvette, and I just brought a newer one. Those are my babies. I'm spending a couple hours on those every single week. Excited for the opportunity to drive one of them home. If it's not ice on the ground, I'm going to drive it.
Nice.
So also love just doing stuff like landscaping around my house, woodworking. A lot of the woodwork that's in my house I did myself, and the remodeling and stuff. So anything where I can separate from my mind and use my hands, I think that's going to be where I'm at.
That's awesome. So hobbies are Corvettes, work around the house. Do you when you leave the house, what do you do?
I like to golf. Anything that I can do to be outside, again, spend all week inside. So when I'm off work, I feel like I need to be out, not trapped, So just enjoying. I love going to, if you're in Columbia or know the area, Cooper's Landing is a really big spot along the river. So going out there, listen to some live music, catch a food truck,
Cool.
Catch a cold beer, meet up with some friends. That is a big part of what I do.
I love that.
Yeah.
So real estate agents watching this, that's where you're gonna go.
I'll be there.
Go hang out.
Yeah. I'll be there.
I love it. Last question. You mentioned off air that you have a motto that you kind of live by. What is it?
Yeah, I've really focused this year, and honestly, I think it's been a huge part of my growth this year, is each day trying to, I always am focused on doing the most I can each day with the time that's given, but I've really tried to focus that in on this year of doing something for professional me today and tomorrow, and for personal me today and tomorrow. So for example, professional me is today I've got to call at least 10 leads or prospects, previously closed customers. That's right now me. Future me is education, increasing my marketing presence, working on those things that make me uncomfortable. That's future professional me.
Yeah.
Current personal me is getting to the gym today. Future me is working on my healthier eating habits, so that way these gym trips, I get the most out of them over the long term.
Yeah.
So each day I feel like if I can check off all 4 quadrants of that little checklist there, that was a great day, and you do that 365, you had a great year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I love it. Almost simplistic, but the execution of it is the challenging part.
it is, man. I feel like it many times in my life, when one part of my life comes on strong, the other part fades away. So working really hard on my professional goals, my personal life craters. My personal life picks up, got a cool fancy Corvette, my professional life suffers. So I think really trying to hit each part of it each day is huge.
Last question. How can somebody get in touch with you? What's the best way to connect with you?
My cell phone. I use my cell for everything. 660-342-5118. Google my name. I would say a good place to figure out who you want to work with. Look at the reviews, Google their names, see what comes up. If there's nothing, that's a good sign of how active or how passionate they might be about their business.
Yeah. Awesome. Dylan, it's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah.
Good to get to
Absolutely.
get to know you.